Okay. So we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 2. And today we are starting with text 20, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. सखी है न बूझिए विधिर विधान सुख लागे कह लो प्रीत हिले दुख विपरीत एबे जाए न रहे परान. Srimati Radha Rani continued, lamenting about the consequences of loving Krishna. What are the consequences? Says here, my dear friend, I do not understand the regulative principles given by the Creator. I loved Krishna for happiness, but the result was just the opposite. I'm now in an ocean of distress. It must be that now I'm going to die, for my vital force no longer remains. This is my state of mind. So this is continuing from the last two verses, number 18 and 19, that we did 3 weeks ago. Basically, the story behind it is that one time Radharani had gone to Vrindavan with her friends and they saw Krishna playing at a distance with his friends. And then Krishna and Radha saw each other from a distance and felt totally mesmerized by each other's beauty. And they developed a great desire to meet. And Radharani was so anxious to meet Krishna that she actually wrote a letter, a love letter, and asked a friend, her name was Shashi Mukhi, to deliver that letter to Krishna. So she did. Krishna read that note, and upon reading that note, he also became very anxious to meet Radharani. But Krishna is Krishna. So he decided to test the depth of Radharani's love for him, and hiding his own anxiousness to meet her, he sent a message through same person, Shashimukhi, sent a message preaching her to protect her kul dharma, her chastity, and her service to her husband. So exactly the same scenario as we had when he played his flute from Manshivat in the middle of the night, and 3 billion gopis showed up in the middle of the forest. And he gave them the same lecture about, this is not right, this is not appropriate for you to come out in the middle of the night. What about your kul dharma? What about your chastity and your service to your husband? Same stuff. And Radharani saw that letter, became extremely disheartened. And then she spoke these verses. So this is one of the 6 or 7 verses in continuation. So this is the third one. So what is she saying here? I don't understand the regulative principles. So what regulative principles she's referring to? Basically, you make somebody happy, and that should make you happy. She says, but I loved Krishna for his happiness. And of course, through his happiness, my happiness. But the opposite is happening. Now I'm in an ocean of distress. So then she says, it must be that now I'm going to die, for my vital force no longer remains. All the vitals, as the doctors say, they're gone. And she said, this is the state of my mind. So, excuse me. Then she continues, text 21. कुटिल प्रेमा अगेयान नाही जाने स्थान भाल मंद नारे विचारिते क्रूर शठेर गुण भारे डोरे हाथे गले बांधी मोरे राखिया छे नारी ukashite. Translation. By nature, loving affairs are very crooked. They're not entered with sufficient knowledge, nor do they consider whether a place is suitable or not, nor do they look forward to the results. So she said, what I mean, we see this in all Bollywood movies, same thing. By nature, loving affairs are very crooked. What does that mean? Loving affairs are not straightforward dealings. The lovers don't always express what's in their heart. They don't always show from their expressions on their face what's in their heart. And so therefore, it becomes a game for each other to understand what the other person's thinking, feeling, and willing. And so she's saying same thing. So I thought it would be this, but it has become that. I thought I'll be happy, but I'm distressed. I thought I'll make him happy, but he doesn't care. I thought he'll be very flattered to get my letter, but clearly he's not. So that's what she means by crooked. And they're not entered with sufficient knowledge. So knowledge about what? Knowledge about the consequences. What will happen? And it's like they say, I didn't think so far. I saw him, I saw her, I fell for it. And when my heart was beating so hard, my brain stopped functioning. So therefore, no logic. Don't give me logic. Don't tell me why I did not think that, that. There's no room for thinking. The brain is gone, only heart is acting. Nor do they consider whether a place is suitable or not. So this is the middle of so many people, right? They could observe, and people are very, especially in India, especially in the olden days, especially the older men and women, they would constantly be watching what the young people are doing. Who's looking at whom, who's smiling at whom. That's their business. So now they're not concerned. They say, okay, thousands of people, but we don't care. So she's saying, we did consider that this place is suitable or not. Nor do they look forward to the results. So, like, they're not thinking results. They can't think that far. They're thinking right now, this instant, what's happening, how I'm feeling, how my emotions are driving everything I'm doing or thinking. So she's accepting all that. Then she says, by the ropes of his good qualities, Krishna, who is so unkind, has bound my neck and hands, and I'm unable to get relief. So, having realized that he's making me so unhappy, I want to run away from him. But with the rope of his good qualities, he's bound my neck, my hands, my feet, everything. So, how can I run away? So now I can't get release or relief from this bondage that he's put on me of his good qualities. So now I'm stuck. What do I do? Okay. Text 22. जे मदन तनुहीन पर दो है परवीण बाण संधे अनुक्षण अबलार शरीरे विद्धि कैल जर जरे दुख दे न लोए जीवन. Beautiful. Says, in my loving affairs, there's a person named Madan. Now, who's Madan? Anybody?
Lord Krishna.
Mm,
Madan is Cupid.
Cupid, right. So, there's a person called Cupid. Krishna is Madan Mohan. So, this
Yeah.
Madan is Cupid. His qualities are thus. Now, she's explaining his qualities of Madan. Personally, he possesses no gross body. So, everyone knows that. Why he doesn't have gross body?
Because this is an internal feeling only.
No. Cupid. Why does Cupid not have a body? Gross body.
Lord Shiva.
Yes.
Lord Shiva.
So he tried to disturb the meditation of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva got so angry, he opened his third eye and burned his body.
And that's why he's called Ananga.
Correct. That is correct.
Mm.
Anang means no body, no gross body. So he has no gross body. Yet he's very expert in giving pains to others. Even without body, he can give pain. So how does he do that? He has 5 arrows. And fixing them on his bow, he shoots them into the bodies of innocent women. So what's the significance of 5 arrows?
5 senses.
Correct. So he captures every sense. Eyes only want to see him or her. Ears only want to hear about his or her qualities. Tongue only wants to talk praises of the other person. Nose only wants to smell the bodily fragrance of that person. Hands only want to touch him. That's her or him. So thus these women become invalids. Invalid means not able to use their limbs the way they want it. So the limbs don't respond to their mind's commands. They become invalid. It would be better if it took my life without hesitation. But it does not do so. So it would be better if someone kills me. I mean, arrows are meant to kill. But they're not killing me. They're only making my limbs invalid or my senses invalid. He simply gives me pain. That's all he's doing. So this complaint against the Cupid. Okay, she continues. अन्य जे दुख मने अन्यतः नहीं जाने सत्य यही शास्त्रेर विचारे अन्य जन कहाँ लिखी न जाने प्राण सखी जाते कहे धैर्य धरी बारे. Translation. In the scriptures it is said that one person can never know unhappiness in the mind of another. So I think we all understand that. Like
Yeah.
none of you have any idea if I'm in pain right now, and I don't have any idea if you're in pain. Right? If you're not feeling very happy, well, your facial expression may give it away, but I cannot know the nature of that unhappiness. I cannot know the amount of that unhappiness. Sometimes people say, I know how you feel. No, you don't. That's the most stupid thing people say. I know how you feel. No, you don't. How can anybody know how I feel? Right? So she's saying the same thing. One person can, scriptures even say that one person can never know the unhappiness in the mind of another. Therefore, what can I say, my dear friends, Lalita and others? So saying, so Lalita, Vishaka, etc., don't tell me you understand what I'm going through. Don't tell me you understand my unhappiness. Because no, you don't. Nor can they understand the unhappiness within me. They simply try to console me, repeatedly saying, dear friend, be patient. In Hindi, they say, Dharya dharo. Be patient. Time will take care of it. Time is a big healer. You'll be fine. Don't worry. I mean, they can't say Krishna will help you because Krishna is the problem. But like we can say to each other, but rather than saying, what do I do? Don't give me, false consolation. Okay, like she's really angry and unhappy and distressed. So she's talking like that to her best friends. Text 24. कृष्ण कृपा पारावार कभु करी बेन अंगीकार सखी तोर अव्यर्थ वचन जीवेर जीवन चंचल जैन पद्म पत्रेर जल तत दिन जीवे कौन जन. I say, my dear friends, you're asking me to be patient, saying that Krishna is an ocean of mercy, and that sometime in the future he'll accept me. So they're telling her that don't worry, Krishna is very merciful, ocean of mercy. And sometime in future he'll come back and he'll accept you. She said, however, I must say that this will not console me. A living entity's life is very flickering. It's like water on the leaf of a lotus flower. So like this very famous bhajan, Bhaja Hure Man, Shri Nandan, right? In that it says, Kamala Dalajal, Jivana Talama. Just like water on the petals of lotus flower, it's very unstable. One breeze and the petals of the flower will shake and the water will fall down. So similarly, one moment you're here, next moment you're gone. There's no guarantee that we'll live in the next moment. So how can I have patience? What good is patience for me? I may not live that long. Who will live long enough to expect Krishna's mercy? So who knows? How long did the gopis in Vrindavan wait after he had left for Mathura and Dwarka? Any ideas? Just ballpark number?
Yeah, more than 100 years, 100,
Yeah, they usually say 100 years.
10.7, 110
That's right.
years.
So that's a long, long time. And she's saying, who lives 100 years? So this coming up next verse. 25. शत वत्सर पर्यंत जीवेर जीवन अंत यही वाक्य कहो न बिचारी नारीर यवन धन जारे कृष्ण करे मन से यवन दिन दुई चारी. A human being does not live more than 100 years. You should also consider that the youthfulness of a woman, which is the only attraction for Krishna, remains for only a few days. So when you're 100, even if you lived up to 100, you're not very pretty at that time. Right? So she's saying, so what's the use of patience? By the time he comes back, I may be old. Then why would he be attracted to me? He only wants me because I'm young and beautiful. But that youth and beauty is very short term. In a few years, it will be gone. So then that means we'll not be attracted to anything. Now, understand, this is Radha Rani talking. Radha Rani, the most beautiful woman anywhere. You know, we discussed this long time ago that if you take the most beautiful woman on earth and you multiply her beauty by 1 million, that's the beauty of the Apsaras in heaven. If you take the Apsara's beauty, multiply by 1 million, that was the beauty of the Lakshmis. And if you take the beauty of the Lakshmis, multiply by 1 million, that becomes the beauty of the Gopis. And you multiply that beauty with 1 million, that becomes the beauty of Radha Rani. Right? They say women wear jewelry to enhance their natural beauty. But Radha Rani wears jewelry to hide her natural beauty. Because she's so beautiful, Krishna looks at her and faints. So to avoid Krishna from fainting, she wears jewelry. And that personality is saying, well, my youth is temporary, only for a little while. My beauty is only for a little while. That's a distress speaking. That's an unhappiness speaking. That's a reaction to Krishna's so-called disinterest in her. Okay. 26. अग्नि जैसे निज धाम देखिया अभिराम पतंगीर आकर्षिया मारे कृष्ण अच्छे निज गुण दिखाइया हरे मन पाछे दुख समुद्र ते डारे. If you say that Krishna is an ocean of transcendental qualities and therefore must be merciful someday, I can only say that he's like fire that attracts moths by its dazzling brightness and kills them. So she's anticipating the points that the Sakhis will make to console her. And she's answering them even before they ask. So now she's anticipating that they will say, but Krishna is very merciful. These are wonderful transcendental qualities. So he's so merciful, someday he'll come back. And she says, no. Krishna is like fire, which attracts the moths. They become so attracted by the dazzling effulgence of the fire, they rush to it. But what happens when a moth rushes to fire? Burns and dies. Right? I went to a wedding a few years ago in India. It was just after the rainy season. It was an outdoor reception, and they had 2 huge electric fires. And you could see millions of moths coming and getting burnt, and you were hearing the sound of pss, 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 the burning sound. And then below the fire was like pile of ashes, which was the bodies of the moths. So literally millions of them. So he's saying, so he thinks of this a moth, I'll come running, and then I'll die. Thus, those are the qualities of Krishna. What are you talking about, my Sakhis? There's no praise here. Not direct praise anyway. By showing us his transcendental qualities, he attracts our minds. And then later, by separating from us, it drowns us in an ocean of unhappiness. Now, this point will be made more clear in the next verse. But basically, she's saying that he attracts our mind, we get together, then later he separates from us, and we drown in the ocean of unhappiness. So now, let me ask you a question. How come that we don't feel separation from Krishna? We don't cry, we don't die, we don't hit our head against the wall, we don't...
Because we are too much attached to the sense gratification, Prabhuji.
Okay. So
we are too much attached to the body.
Correct. So that's correct. But I think there's one more thing.
We don't have the love for Krishna.
Correct. So we're not attached to Krishna. So to feel separation, we must be attached to him. And this is why we feel separation when our money is lost, or when our relatives is lost, or our property is lost, or job is lost, because we are attached to them. So we feel separation only from what we are attached to. So our problem is we never got attached to Krishna. So then what's the meaning of separation? But clearly she's very attached. So the more attached you are, the more separation you feel, to the point where you start talking like a mad person. Like Radha Rani talking to a bumblebee.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, text 27. एते के विलाप करी विषादे श्री गौरहरि उघाड़िया दुखेर कपाट भावे रे तरंग बोले नाना रूपे मन चले और एक श्लोक कैल पाठ. So now Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying that in this way Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in a great ocean of sadness, and thus he opened the doors of his unhappiness. So now all this quotes by Radha Rani is actually being repeated by Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Radha Rani. So where is he living at this time?
In Gambhir,
Gambhira, yes, in Gambhira temple. And that's where he's talking to. He's talking to two people. Who are those two people?
one is Ramanand Prabhuji and
Yes. Correct. Swarup Damodar, yes. So he's talking to those two people. So now he's lamenting in a great ocean of sadness, or exactly in the mood of Radharani. And thus he opened the doors of his unhappiness, meaning his unhappiness coming out. Forced by the waves of ecstasy, his mind wandered over transcendental mellows and recited another verse as follows. So again, he's feeling those waves of ecstasy, where some of the symptoms are you're crying, you're laughing, you talk like a madman, right? So he's doing that, and then he's reciting another verse. 28. Shri Krishna Rupadi Nisevanam Vina Vyarthani Me Ahani Akhilendriyani Alam Pashan Shuskendhana Bharakani Aho Vibharmi Vatani Katham Hatatrapa. Anybody knows how to read this verse properly in right meter? But obviously I don't. Any volunteers?
Prabhu,
You know how to do it? Good, go ahead.
Prabhu, I'll do it. Yeah. Sri Krishna Rupadi Nishevanam Vina Varthani Me Ahani Akhilendriyani Alam Pashana Shukshendana Bharakani Aho Bibrami Vatani Katham Hatha Trapa.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. So I guess this is Brahma Samhita meter, whatever it's called. My dear friends, unless I serve the transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna, all my days and all my senses will become entirely useless. Now I'm uselessly bearing the burden of my senses, which are like stone blocks and dried wood. I do not know how long I'll be able to continue without shame. So she's saying, if I don't serve him, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, then my days and my senses become totally useless. And they become basically a burden. My senses become a burden, not ordinary burden, like stone blocks, which is very heavy, and dried wood, which is basically very flammable. And I don't know how long I can do this without feeling any shame. Okay, then continues. वंशी गाना मृत्यधाम लावण्याम्र जन्मस्थान जेना देखे सचा चांद बदन से नयन की बाकाज बदुका तार मुंडेबाज से नयन रहे की कारण. What use are the eyes of one who does not see the face of Krishna, which resembles the moon and is the birthplace of all beauty and the reservoir of the nectarian songs of his flute? Oh, let a thunderbolt strike his head. Why does he keep such eyes? So now she's going to start talking about all the 10 senses. And we'll talk about that. She'll take them one at a time. But here, starting with the eyes. What's the use of the eye that does not see the face of Krishna? And Krishna's face looks like a moon. That's why I call it Chandravadan or Chandramukha, lotus face. It's the birthplace of all beauty and the reservoir of the nectareous songs of flute. Means all beauty comes from him. He's the mother, father of all beauty. And the reservoir of nectareous songs of his flute. So his flute is blowing out these nectareous songs all the time. So the person whose eyes don't see the face of Krishna, let a thunderbolt strike his head. Because what's the use? Why does he keep such eyes? Right? So let's see the purport and we'll talk a little bit more. Any volunteers?
Can I read it, Prabhuji?
Of course, please go ahead.
Purport. The moonlight face of Krishna is a reservoir of nectarian song and the abode of his flute. It is also the root of all bodily beauty. The gopis think that if their eyes are not engaged in seeing the beautiful face of Krishna, it would be better for them to be struck by the thunderbolt. For the gopis, to see anything but Krishna is uninterested and indeed detestable. And the gopis are never pleased to see anything but Krishna. The only solace for their eyes is the beautiful moon-like face of Krishna, the wonderful object of all senses. When they cannot see the beautiful face of Krishna, they actually see anything as vacant, and they desire to struck by the thunderbolt. They do not find any reason to maintain their eyes when they are barefoot of the beauty of Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So a number of thoughts are coming to my mind. One is, what do the gopis say in Gopi Geet about having eyelids?
Why
This,
why Brahma has made the eyes, so the lids are taking no time.
sorry, Lisa,
Like the time taken by the lids is too much.
yes. So they're saying this creator, Brahma, is so foolish. He gave us eyelids. Every time we blink, we cannot see Krishna.
Yeah.
And we cannot tolerate that. So, and by the way, one blink is 1/16th of a second. Not 1 second, not half second, 1/16th. So that's unbearable for the gopis. So you can imagine when somebody who doesn't see at all, how unfortunate that would be. So that's one point. Second point is, um, it says here, when they cannot see the beautiful face of Krishna, they actually see everything as vacant. So what is the 7th verse in Shikshashtaka?
Month verse in Shiksha.
Yugayitam nimishen, chakshusha pravrashayitam,
Shunyaitam.
shunyayitam jagat sarvam, govinda virahen. So virahen means separation from Krishna. So in separation from Krishna, my whole world is vacant. Again, Lord Chaitanya talking in the mood of Radha Rani. Same thing here. So this mood is translated in the Shikshashtakam, 7th verse. A moment of separation feels like a whole millennium. And without him, the world looks or feels empty. Shunyaitam jagatsa, zero. The third, what happened when the gopis was looking for Krishna after the last dance, Krishna had disappeared? They ran into Lord Narayan. What did they do?
They say, we are not interested in you.
No, they didn't say that.
They
They
paid
paid the
obeisance.
obeisances, but
Sorry?
They
they
paid
paid the
obeisance
obeisances,
to
but
Narayan.
asked for the Krishna. Where he
Sorry,
has,
can one person speak only, but I can't understand. Any one of you, it's fine.
Prabhuji, go ahead. Prabhuji.
yeah, so when they see Narayan 400 form, they paid the obeisances and asked them, have you seen the Krishna?
That's right. They were not interested in any other conversation. Just turned around and left. That's what she's saying here. Not interested in anything else. Even Lord Narayan, not interested.
Yep.
Only one Krishna. Right? It says here, for gopis, to see anything but Krishna is uninteresting. So Narayan is uninteresting. Like you and I will be offering obeisances and trying to say prayers. But gopis is not interested. And indeed detestable. So anything else, not Narayan, but anything else, no, not at all. No attraction. Detestable means actually I hate it. Don't want it. Right? Okay, so they do not find any reason to maintain their eyes when they're bereft of the beauty of Krishna. They can't see Krishna, then what's the use of my eyes? So may as a thunderbolt come and strike my head and let me go. Okay? Text 30. Sakhi hai shunimor hot vidhi bal मोर बपु चित्तमन सकल इंद्रिय गण कृष्ण बिनु सकल विफल. My dear friends, please hear me. I've lost all providential strength. Without Krishna, my body, consciousness, and mind, as well as all my senses, are useless. Means nothing is working. My mind is not working, my senses are not working, and I have no external consciousness. My mind is gone. Sorry, do you have a question?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I had a question. Who's speaking? Is it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Radha Rani?
This is
Srimati Radha Rani.
Chaitanya speaking, expressing Radha Rani's mood, which in Jagannath Vallabh Natak, Ravana Rai has written Radha Rani speaking.
Okay.
So it's like Bhagavatam, for example. You see Sutta Goswami telling what Shukdev Goswami was saying, who's talking about what Madhya Rishi was saying. Right? So who's speaking? Well, all three of them. So same thing here. Lord Chaitanya is speaking now to Swarup Damodar Ravana Rai, was talking about as if Radharani is speaking to her friends about Krishna.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Text 31. Krishnere Madhuravani Amritere Tarangini Tar Pravesh Nahi Je Shravane Kanakari Chitrisam Jani Hai Se Shravana Tar Janma Hoil Akarane. Topics about Krishna are like waves of nectar. If such nectar does not enter one's ear, the ear is no better than the whole of a damaged conch shell. Such an ear is created for no purpose. So actually, Prabhupada translates Kanakari as whole of a damaged conch shell. But actually, all people my age will know, you may not know, there used to be the currency system had Rupiah Paisa Ana and then some other things and then Kauri.
That was before our time.
Okay, before your time, but there was
Yes.
expression Kauriyon ke daam big gaya. Means so cheap, buy one Kauri.
Yeah.
And they look like very small, maybe about half an inch, quarter to inch, half an inch, like conch shell, but they're not conch shell. And some of them had a hole. So that's referred to like, usually Kauri by itself is useless basically. Like so useless, now it's not even in circulation. Right? But if one had a hole in it, that's even worse. So she's saying that if such nectar does not enter one's ear, it's no better than the whole of a kauri. Kani kauri, this is called.
Kaudi.
Kauri, kauri. Okay. So now in the purport, I'll skip the Sanskrit and go straight to the translation. So somebody read the translation, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can I read?
Of course, please go ahead.
Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases and the duration of life of everyone except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. Do the tree not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beast not eat and discharge semen? Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord should be considered to possess ears like the holes of snakes and a tongue like that of a frog. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden, if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, which is freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari. The eyes, which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, that is his forms, names, qualities, etc., are like those printed on the plumps of a peacock, and the legs, which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered, are considered to be like tree trunks. The person who has not at a time received upon his head the dust of the feet of a pure devotee of the Lord is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the favor of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Certainly that heart is steel framed, which in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, do not change and feel ecstasy at the time tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand on the end. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So actually, every time I read these verses from the Bhagavatam, I realize how useless and a rascal person I am, because all this applies, to me, because of my behavior and habits and all that. So let's talk about this. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing the topics of all good personality of Godhead. So every time the sun comes up, we say good morning, but we should be saying one less day in this world, material world. No, in this body, sorry, not material world, in this body, right? But if one is devotee, then we don't say that. Like we said, the devotee never dies. Why do we say that? The devotee never dies.
Because he does not consider himself to the body.
Right. So he's not this body, and he's free from all bodily restrictions. When he leaves body, he goes back home to Godhead. Right? So there's a verse in Nectar of Devotion. It says, Iha yasya harer dasya mansa karmanagira niklashu api avasthashu jivan mukta uchita. It says that a person was completely dedicated to Guru and Krishna with his mind, body, and words. Under all circumstances, he's a liberated person. And this is why we don't cremate the bodies of pure devotees. Because there's nothing material there. It's already all transcendental. It looks material, but it's transcendental. So we give them samadhi. So Prabhupada samadhi. And Bhakti Swami samadhi. Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj samadhi. So and so. Pure devotees don't need to be cremated. Okay, they get samadhi. So what's the one thing they do? Utilize all the time by discussing topics of Krishna. So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Chapter 10, text 9. Mat chitta madgat pranam. Bodhyantas parasparam. Kathyantas mam nitya. Tushyanti cha. Ramanti cha. Right? Their satisfaction and nourishment comes from all the time, 24/7. Discussing the form, the qualities, pastimes of Krishna. So for them, sunrise, set, no matter. Okay. Then basically it reminds me of a very wonderful verse from Bhagavatam, which is talking about Ambarish Maharaj. So what's the most famous thing other than the incident with the Durvasa Muni about Ambarish Maharaj is that he used all his 10 senses to serve the Lord. Right? And also the fundamental definition of bhakti, according to the Nectar of Devotion, is Sarvapadi Manirmuktam Tatparatve nirmalam rishikesh sevanam bhakti uchyate. When you engage your senses in the service of the master of senses, Krishna, that is bhakti.
Yep.
So, no engagement of senses, no bhakti. So, Prabhupada says bhakti is an active word. The root word is bhaj, but it's an active word. Not that you put a picture of whatever, put a garland around the frame, and you're doing bhakti. No. No. What are you offering? What are you chanting? What are you hearing? All that's active bhakti. That's what's called service. You cannot do service without activity. So then again, the verse that is about Maharaj Ambarish starts with Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindya. He focused his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. He used his tongue to describe the qualities and the form and the pastimes of Krishna. He utilized his nose, nostrils to smell the
Flowers. Smell.
flowers and tulsi leaves offered on his lotus feet. Right? He used his ears to hear about Krishna. His eyes to look at the beautiful form of Krishna. Right? His legs to go to holy places and to the temple. His hands to wash the temple, to cook for him. Right? So all the 11 senses utilized in the service of Krishna. So same thing is being done here. So now let's do the next line. Do the trees not live? Are trees living or dead? They can't move. They can't talk.
They're still living.
They're still living. Right? I'll come back. Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? Everybody know what a bellow is? Bellows?
Yeah, the blacksmith is this.
The
The air.
air that blows
It's like a bag, big bag. They just press in and out, and the air comes out to light the fire, or keep the fire lit, I should say. Okay, for blacksmith.
Snore.
Right? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? So eating, mating, defending, the animals not do that? Yes, they do. So men who are like dogs, hawks, and camels, and assist, praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, should be considered to possess ears like the holes of snakes and a tongue like that of a frog. So what good are the holes of snakes?
What good are the holes?
Of no practical use.
Except for snake, it's no good. There's only risk that if you put your foot there, the snake might come out and bite you. What's wrong with the tongue of a frog?
It's just open to call the death, calling the snake.
Right. He goes ribbit, 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 or in Hindi, tar, 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 and then attacks the snake, eats them. If he kept quiet, the snake wouldn't know. But by talking loud, he invites death. Okay. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the person. So you can wear all the fancy turbans you want, but the head is not bowing down in front of the Lord, then it's just heavy burden. And actually, I've seen so many people. They come to the temple, they stand there with their arms like this, in a challenging mood. They never bow down. Never bow down. And I say, so unfortunate, you come all the way to the temple, but you won't bow down to the Lord. So it's just a heavy burden. Hmm? Okay. The hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of personality of God and Hari. So what's the use of all the bangles and jewelry on the hands of a dead person? Still dead. Right? The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of like the murti are like those printed on the plumes of peacock. The plumes of peacock has thousands of eyes, but none of them can see. So what's the use? Right? And the legs which do not move to the holy places are considered to be like tree trunks. So we talked about do trees not live? Yes, they do, but they're useless. So similarly, if you don't go to holy places or to the temple, your legs like trees. Useless. The person who has not at any time received upon his head the dust from the feet of a pure devotee of the Lord is certainly a dead body. If you never touch the lotus feet of a pure devotee, you're like dead body. And the person who has never experienced the flavor of tulsi leaves or the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, like the bellows. Or the breathing, bellows is breathing too, but it's dead. Certainly that heart is a steel frame, which in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change and feel ecstasy, at which time tears fill the eyes and the hair stand on end. So how many of you, including me, are doing that? We chant the name of the Lord, tears come out, hair stands on end, we start to shiver, tremble, feel ecstasy. Raise your hands, please. Right? So, I mean, we have long ways to go. I don't mean to discourage anybody, but we have to be realistic. How far we have to go. It's not enough to see how far we have come, which is also good, but not enough to see how far we have come. Only when we get depressed, then we should look back, how far we have come. But now we should be looking forward, saying how far we have to go. If we keep doing that, we'll not get puffed up. We may be the best singer in ISKCON, maybe the best cook in ISKCON, maybe the best dancer in ISKCON, maybe the best pujari in ISKCON, but we should know long ways to go and become puffed up of our talent given by Krishna, then we start going backwards and fast. One thing Krishna does not like is pride. And the desire for prestige is no different from pride. And Krishna says, okay, anybody played a game of snake and ladders? Snake and ladders?
Yes, Prabhuji, many times.
Typically, what's number 99?
Sometimes
Chaitanya.
go
Right.
to the zero.
We come down to, I think, number 3 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happens.
To zero.
We develop this desire for prestige, become puffed up, we land on number 99. Like you say, they obtained 99. Okay. So now all this will be explained in great detail in the next few verses, one at a time. But I just want to give you the background of what Prabhupada is quoting. This very famous verse or verses that talk about all the senses and the utility of the senses. So again, Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. Engaging our senses. How many senses do we have?
11.
11. That's exactly right. So if all the 11 senses are not engaged, then it's not bhakti. Okay. Text 32. Krishner Adharamrit, Krishna Sunna Charit, Sudhasar Swad Vinindan, Tar Swad Jena Jane, Janmiya na Mail Kene, Se Rasna Bhek Jivasam. The nectar from the lips of Lord Krishna and its transcendental qualities and characteristics surpass the state of the essence of all nectar. And there's no fault in tasting such nectar. If one does not taste it, he should die immediately after birth, and his tongue is to be considered no better than the tongue of a frog. Without chanting the name of the Lord, then doing prajalpa. Right? Either you talk about Krishna or you do prajalpa. And what does nectar of instruction say about prajalpa? Text 2, nectar of instruction, what does it say? Anyone remember the text? Text 2 of nectar of instruction. Atyahara payasasya prajalpa niyamagraha. Titsangascha lolasya sharibhi bhaktir vinashyati. So prajalpa will literally destroy your bhakti. because prajalpa very quickly leads to the chit chat about other people. And actually, what's that? One of the 6 Goswamis, Raghunath Das Goswami says that prajalpa is like a prostitute, which for a moment will give you lots of pleasure, will destroy your life in the long run.
Yep.
It'll take away everything you have. So prajalpa will take away all spiritual credits. All the hard work you have done will be gone. So very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Okay. And we talked about frog, what happens to the frog. So same thing. And then we die. Another thing, the story about the karma police. So the story is that one time there was a king who invited all the subjects in his kingdom to come. And he said, I'll personally serve you prasadam. So serving prasadam to everyone. As he was doing that, it was obviously an outdoor place, there was an eagle flying in the sky. It had captured a snake. No, not eagle, hawk, sorry. Hawk had captured a snake. So it had in its claws the snake, poisonous snake, was flying with it to take it to a place where he'll eat it. Clearly the snake was in distress. And they flew over exact spot where the king was distributing prasadam. And in his distress, the snake spit out some poison that fell in the tray that king had just filled to give to somebody. Not knowing poison had dropped, king gave it to the person. Not knowing the poison had dropped, the person ate it and immediately died. And immediately the karma police came and they were discussing. Well, is it king's fault that he gave poison? And they said, no, he didn't even know. Is the fault of previous karma of the person? Well, no, he didn't know either. Okay, then it must be the fault of the hawk. No, hawk was doing what comes naturally. He had no intention of poisoning this person. I can't give karma to him. But then it must be the snake. It was his poison. No, you can't do that. Snake poison is given by Krishna to all snakes. So that's the thing. And in his distress, it's automatically something will come out. And he only has poison. It can't be his fault. Then whose fault is it? So as they were discussing it, there was a woman. She started saying very loudly, this king is horrible. I knew that something was fishy. And look at him. He poisoned this man. As soon as they heard that, they said, this is where the karma goes. Means you criticize, you get the karma. So my previous point did not scare you. This should scare you. It scares me. We criticize people, we get the karma. And whatever bad qualities we're criticizing, they get downloaded in our consciousness and we develop that bad quality. So whether they're criticizing or listening to the criticism with great interest, we download that bad quality in our consciousness. So nothing but harm. You lose your bhakti, you destroy your consciousness, you develop the bad quality, and you capture the karma. So our choice. Okay? Any questions or comments? Okay. Text 32. Krishner Adharamrit, Krishna Gun Charit, Sudhasar Swad Vinindan, Tar Swad Jena Jane, Janmiya na Mail Kene, Se Rasana Bhek Jivasam. The nectar from the lips of Lord Krishna and his transcendental qualities and characteristics surpass the taste of the essence of all nectar, and there's no fault in tasting such nectar. If one does not taste it, he should die immediately after birth, and his tongue is to be considered no better than the tongue of a frog. That tongue invites death, a spiritual death and material death. Okay, is that point clear? Okay. Text 33. मेघमदि नीलोत्पल मिलने जय परिमल जय हरे तारस गर्वमान हेन कृष्ण अंगगंध जार नाही से संबंध सही नासा तस्त्रार भस्त्रार समान. One whose nostrils are no better than the bellows of a blacksmith. One has not smelled the fragrance of Krishna's body, which is like the aroma of musk combined with that of bluish lotus flower. Indeed, such combinations are actually defeated by the aroma of Krishna's body. So, first of all, how do we smell Krishna's body if we're not on the altar? So, we do that by smelling the tulsi leaves offered to his feet or the flowers offered to him. And we have to accept that as mercy of Krishna. And I think I've told you the story about this young girl, 18, 19-year-old. I was taking the flower to everybody in the attending the Aarti to smell. When I went to her, she said, "No, I don't want to smell it." I said, "Why not?" She said, "That is sense gratification." She missed the whole point. This is called Phalgu Vairagya, artificial renunciation. So anything that's been offered to Krishna is pure mercy. And enjoying that is not sense gratification. That's receiving mercy. All right. So no, somebody who does not smell, his nostrils are like the bellows of a blacksmith. Air comes out and in, but that's it. Text 34. Krishna kar padatal, kotichand sushital, tar sparsh jain sparsh mani, tar sparsh nahi jar, se jauk charkhar, sei bapu law samjani. Translation. The palms of Krishna's hands and the soles of his feet are so cool and pleasant, they can be compared only to the light of millions of moons. What does Krishna say, text 13 of chapter 15? Gama Vishita Bhutani, Dharyam Ham Ojso, Pushani Choshni Sarva, Somo Bhutva Rasatmaka. He says, I become the moon. And for my rays, I give life to the medicines and all the vegetation in the world. So they get the taste because of my rays. So here, same thing. Krishna's hands and soles are compared with the cooling lights of moons of millions of moons. One who has touched such hands and feet has indeed tasted the effects of touchstone. So if we have deities, we have touched them, pictures, touch them, then it's like effects of touchstone. What does touchstone do?
Turned everything into gold, stilled into gold.
Into gold. And why is gold? Gold is very expensive and very precious. So we touch Krishna's lotus feet like a deity, what picture? Then we get something very precious, even more precious than gold. That is bhakti. Okay? If one has not touched them, his life is spoiled, his body is like iron. Now, what's the significance of iron here? If one has not touched them, his life is spoiled, his body is like iron. Any thoughts?
Become useless.
Sorry?
Become useless, Prabhuji.
No, but what's the importance of saying the word iron? Why like iron?
The judgment will be on the body.
No life.
No.
No,
Iron
touch
rests for a time.
Iron is Prabhuji something like which is very low quality metal.
Okay. So is wood.
May have the
Think.
Sorry?
may
Iron
have the
rust.
body may have many diseases then.
Sorry, Mataji, say again?
Body can have many diseases in that case.
Okay, but
Like the
iron. What do we do?
Iron is very cold
Iron
and
is
very
thrown in the fire, right? To purify it. So it's burnt, right? So similarly, a person who has not touched the hands and feet of the Lord is iron, so it must be thrown in the fire of Bhav Mahadavagni, the miseries of the material world.
yes.
Remember the first verse of Shikshashtakam? Cheto Darpan Majanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapam. Bhav Mahadavagni. Davagni means great fire. And those of you who live in BC know all about that, right? The Great Fires. Same thing, Ontario. If you're in Northern Ontario, you know all about Great Fires. How painful that is. So basically, burn in hell, burn in the material world, which is full of miseries. So hence the comparison with iron. They deserve to be burnt in the miseries of the material world. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Huh.
Yeah. I was just thinking. I'm just guessing. So iron is also because touchstone word is used. When touchstone touches iron, it becomes gold. That means there's a transformation happens. Whereas this iron remains iron, nothing happens. So you are touching, but there is no transformation happen. So yeah, you remain whatever you are. But that old age you continue with that.
No, if you touch stone with iron, iron will not change. I didn't know that.
Touchstone will make the iron to gold, right?
Yeah. I thought you said it doesn't.
Now here, if you are not touching, that means if you are
Oh,
not
not touching.
touching
Yes.
the
Correct.
Lord,
Correct.
the meaning is that it remains as it is. Like a stone will remain stone, iron will remain stone. There's no transformation. Nothing happens. And anyway, iron is useless because it can rust and it can have, it's a low. All other things we are talking about.
My only point was they could have said wood. They could have said a stone. They're all useless, right? But they say iron. So I was trying to explain why specifically iron.
Yeah.
Okay. Text 35. करी एत बिलपन प्रभु शचीनंदन उघाड़िया हृदयेर शोक दैन निर्वेद विषादे हृदयेर अवसादे पुनरपि पढ़े एक श्लोक. Lamenting in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the doors of his grief within his heart. Open the doors of grief means he expressed his grief. Otherwise, it was in his heart, nobody knows. Morose, humble, and disappointed, he recited a verse again and again with a dependent heart. Now, very interesting. It says here, morose. Morose is like Vishad. Remember Vishad Yoga, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Right? With this, there's a lot of morose because I don't want to do this. Why am I in this situation? Right? Humble, we all know humble, and disappointed. With those three characters, he recited verse again and again with a despondent heart. This one heart means, despondent means very, very sad, very, very hopeless, basically. There's no hope for him. So in that heart, in that mood, he recites a verse. So let's see the purport.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead.
In the Bhakti Rasa Sindhu, the word danya, humility, is explained as follows. When unhappiness, fearfulness, and the sense of having offended combine, one feels condemned. This sense of condemnation is described as dinata, humility. When one is subjected to such humility, he feels physically inactive. He apologizes and his consciousness is disturbed. His mind is also restless, and many other symptoms are visible. The word nirveda is also explained in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. One may feel unhappiness and separation, as well as jealousy and lamentation due to not discharging one's duties. The despondency that results in is called nirveda. When one is captured by the despondency, thoughts, tears, loss of bodily luster, humility, and heavy breathing result. Visadas is also explained in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. When one fails to achieve his desired goal of life and repent for all his offenses, there is a state of regret called Visada. The symptoms of Avsada are also explained. One hankers to revive his original condition and inquiries how to do so. There are also deep thought, heavy breathing, crying, and lamentation, as well as the changing of the bodily color and drying up of the tongue. In the Bhakti Ras Amrit Sindhu, 33 such destructive symptoms are mentioned. They are expressed in words, in the eyebrows, and in the eyes. These symptoms are called Vaibhavichari, Bhava, destructive ecstasy. If they continue, they are sometimes called Sanchari or continued ecstasy. Hare Krishna.
So I won't get into the details. You can read it. And even if I explain it more, we'll never remember it. So I'm just going to jump to this point. The last paragraph says, these symptoms, they're expressed in words, in the eyebrows, and in the eyes. And they're called Vyabhichari Bhav. So first of all, understand that in the context we're talking about, it's all from Bhakti. They're secondary characteristics of Bhakti. That's one point. Second thing is that they come out in words, as Lord Chaitanya is doing, Lord Radha Rani is doing, or in the eyebrows, the situation of eyebrows. So you can look at the eyebrows and tell if somebody's angry, somebody's sad, right? Same thing with the eyes. You can tell if somebody's angry or sad or very happy, right? So these bhavas are expressed in these three ways. Okay, anyway, that's it. Text 36. Okay, again, Aditi, is this same as Brahma Samhita meter?
Yada yato daivan madhuripur astau lochana patham tadasmakam cheto madana hatakena hitam abhu punar yasmin esha shanam api drisyoreti padavin. It's not rhyming there also. Vidasyamas tasmin akhila gatika ratan Kachita.
Thank you. Translation. If by chance the transcendental form of Krishna comes before the path of my vision, my heart, injured from being beaten, will be stolen away by Cupid, happiness pursuing. Because I could not see the beautiful form of Krishna to my heart's content, when I again see his form, I shall decorate the phases of time with many jewels. Very, very flowery language. So she's saying that if by chance I see Krishna, then my heart will be stolen by Cupid. And because I can't see him now, if I see him again, I'll decorate the phase of time with many jewels. So what are the phases of time? See him, not see him. See him, not see him. So she wants to decorate both phases. Okay. Text 37. Okay. जे काले व स्वप्ने देखे ने वंशी वदने सही काले आइला दुई बैरी आनंद और मदन हरि नील मोर मन देखते न पाइनु नेत्र भरी. Whenever I had the chance to see Lord Krishna's face and his flute, even in a dream, two enemies would appear before me. They were pleasure and Cupid. And since they took away my mind, I was not able to see the face of Krishna to the full satisfaction of my eyes. Like, this is so high level. Even to understand it, it's not so easy. So she's saying, when I see Krishna's face, even in a dream, I become very happy, and Cupid steals my mind. So now, if you don't have your mind, what can you do? Not much. So same thing with Uddhav and the gopis. When Uddhav came to Vrindavan and started to console them that don't worry about Krishna going away, engage your mind in something else. And they said a very famous bhajan, Uddhav man nahi, that's the beast. They said, Uddhav, we don't have 10 or 20 minds, we have only one. And Krishna took that one with him. Now we can't do anything. The same thing she's saying, the Cupid takes away my mind, and then I can't see Krishna to the satisfaction of my eyes. So either way, my eyes remain dissatisfied. Okay, 38. गुना यदि कौन क्षण कराए कृष्ण दर्शन तबे से ही घटी क्षण पल दिया माल्य चंदन नाना रत्न आभरण अलंकृत करी मुँह सकल. If by chance such a moment comes when I can once again see Krishna, then I shall worship those seconds, moments, and hours with flower garlands and pulp of sandalwood, decorate them with all kinds of jewels and ornaments. So what is she saying? She's saying those will be the moments of such pleasure for me that I'll do the worship. I'll worship the moments when I'm able to see Krishna. Not worshiping Krishna here. Worshipping the moments, the seconds, the moments, the hours. Text 39. क्षणे बाई हाइल मन आगे देखे डूई जन तारे पूछे आमिना चैतन्य स्वप्न प्राय की देखिनु किवा आमी प्रलापिनु तोमरा किछु सुनिया छे धन्य. In an instant, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained external consciousness and saw two persons before him. So, like all this dialogue going on, Lord Chaitanya is not in his external consciousness. He's taking his Radha. He's talking like Radha, right?
Yep.
Now, it comes to his external consciousness. And so, who does he see? He sees Swarup Damodar and Ramananda. And he asked them, am I conscious? What dreams have I been seeing? What craziness have I spoken? Have you heard some expressions of humility? His biggest concern still is, am I still humble? Okay, so read the purport, please.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, please go ahead.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus spoke in ecstasy, he saw two persons before him. One was his secretary, Swarupa Damodar, and the other was Rai Ramananda. Coming to his external consciousness, he saw them both present, and although he was still talking in the ecstasy of Srimati Radha Rani, he immediately began to question whether he was the same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you. So basically he's saying, am I Radharani or am I Chaitanya? Okay. Text 40. We'll make it the last one. Shun mor pranere bandhavo nahi Krishna premadhan daridya mor jivan dehendriya vritha mor sab. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, you are my life and soul. Therefore, I tell you that I possess no wealth of love for Krishna. Consequently, my life is poverty-stricken. My limbs and senses are useless. This is basically the sum and summary of all the verses we read today. So let's go through them carefully. So first of all, only two people are eligible to hear Rachita's sentiments. So that's why they are confined in that room in Gambhira. And he's talking to them only, nobody else. So very confidential servants. And they're both Lalita and Vishakha, right? So then he says, I possess no wealth of love for Krishna. So what is real wealth? The dollars, properties, cars, family. What is real wealth? Real wealth is what goes with you, right? So, and then that can be many things, like karma is also real wealth in that sense, but it goes with you even when you leave the material world. That's the real wealth, right? So what is that?
You are accomplished for the love of Krishna.
Right. So the love of Krishna is the wealth, real wealth.
Yep.
Right. So he's saying, I possess no wealth of love of Krishna. Therefore, I'm poverty stricken. Right. What does he say in text 2 of the Shikshashtakam? Anybody remembers text 2?
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज
Go ahead. Go ahead.
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काल वेदाद्रिपि तव कृपा भगवान् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशम् इह जनेनानुरागः.
Thank you. So last line. Durdavam etadashi na anuraga. Unfortunately, I have no love for Krishna. So he's saying same thing here. Because I have no love for Krishna, I am poverty stricken. Now that's humility. In the previous verse is asking, Swarup Damodar Ramanadai, have you heard some expression of humility from me? And what could be more humble than this? He's saying, I have no love for Krishna. Is Krishna in the mood of Radha Rani? As Lord Chaitanya is saying, I have no love for Krishna. That's humility. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. Any questions or comments or corrections or displeasure or whatever? Please express with your eyebrows, eyes, and words.
Very nicely explained, Prabhuji.
Thank you, bro.
Babaji, I'm feeling very despondent myself.
Sorry, say again?
Yeah, I'm feeling very despondent myself.
I think you're very honest.
For different reasons. Because this is very unachievable. I feel like so difficult. Like we look at ourselves and how do you get this is like very difficult.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you're saying this because it's a very important thing to understand. On our own, it is impossible. Impossible, not difficult, impossible. On our own, we cannot get love of Krishna. No matter how many lifetimes, and no matter how much chanting or reading or serving we do. So what is the other factor involved in getting that love of Krishna?
Krishna's mercy or his devotees' mercy, Prabhuji.
Exactly. So you need that mercy of Krishna or the mercy of the devotee of Krishna. Now, how do you get?
By serving him.
By
Serving him with love.
Sorry?
Serving him with love. And
Okay.
continuous.
Yeah.
Continuous.
But we are saying there's no love.
Hearing more and more.
Yeah. So all the processes, hear more, chant more, ask more questions. What does the text number 4 in the construction says about the 6 loving exchanges? Anybody remembers?
Dadati pratigrinati.
Guhyam akhyati.
Guhyam akyati pritchati.
Yeah.
Bhungte bhojayate.
Shadvidha,
Shaivam shadvidhi priti lakshanam.
correct. So give gifts and accept gifts. Now, gift doesn't mean, a present from that you bought from a store. What kind of gifts are we talking about?
The gifts of Krishna, like talking about Krishna.
Krishna
and
Katha, Krishna, anything connected with Krishna. So Dadati Pratigranati, right? Guhyam Akhyati. What does Guhyam Akhyati mean?
confidentially
Sorry?
inspiring or confidentially
Correct.
revealing like your thoughts.
Correct.
And
So which brings the other point, you have to be very careful. You cannot trust everyone.
Yes.
So you have to know with whom to ask confidential questions, right? So you're lucky if you have somebody in your life that you can reveal your heart to. Pachati. Pachati means ask questions,
Yep.
which means somebody has to know the answers. Again, you're very fortunate if you have somebody in your life who has the answers, right? And then, of course, bhunjate bhojate cha, right? So we need a person like that, or persons like that in our life. Because what's the other verse, very famous verse in Act of Devotion by Rupa Goswami, as the 9 stages. Ado Shraddha, Tato Sadhusang, Atha Bhajana Kriya, Syat Arth Nivritti, right? That Nishtha, then Ruchi,
Asakti,
Asakti, then bhava, and then prema. So you have to go through all those stages. And it's not linear, you go back and forth many times. But you need that help of sadhu sangha.
Yep.
Before you can go very far. Right? So don't worry about not being able to do on your own. Focus on finding somebody to help you. Your guru is obviously a primary candidate. And that is why they say, serve your guru to the max. And how you serve guru is by following their instruction 100%. By knowing their mood and imbibing their mood. Right? That's how we serve guru. So that's the process. So we don't try, there's no process. As a matter of what does it say? Something Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabhu Noy, Sharanadi Shuddhichitte Karaye Uday. So Krishna Prem cannot be obtained on your own. There's no process except do Shravan and Kirtan with Shuddhachit. For Shuddhachit, you need the help of the Guru, help of a pure devotee. So anyway, there's many processes, but they all require help of a pure devotee. Okay. Now you say, where do you find a pure devotee? Well, Guru, of course, is one. But beyond that, anybody who follows to the fullest the instructions of a pure devotee, including the Shastras, is a pure devotee. They don't have, horns on their head. They don't have PD, pure devotee written on their forehead. They don't behave in a particular way in the modern sense, modern context. But their words, their behavior, they tell you they're pure devotee.
Yep.
Is that making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So I just have one follow-up question.
You got a question, yeah?
Can we approach bhakti like when Krishna says like do your karma, don't worry about the results? Can we approach bhakti in a similar type of attitude where we're just putting our efforts? What the results of these efforts are, we leave it to Krishna. Like if we get the prema or not, we leave it to Krishna.
Absolutely. You can chant for millions of lifetimes and not get Krishna. Right? Krishna cannot be forced until you become pure. It's kind of an irony. If you're pure devotee already, you can force Krishna to do anything, including tying him up with a rope. But if not pure devotee, then you cannot force him to do anything. You just have to please him. And what's the best way to please Krishna? To please his devotee. Right? If you're not making sense, tell me. Ask another question. But it's very important to understand that our effort should be in pleasing the Guru, in following the instructions of the Guru and the Shastras.
And so following the bhakti process, we are following the instructions, right? Because we don't know the bhakti process. That's what's been given to us by the Gurus.
But you may be doing it. But I know many people who chant their 16 rounds regularly, who follow the 4 negative principles regularly, but they don't follow all the instructions of their Guru. I would say that's majority. Unfortunate, but that's the truth. They find shortcuts, they find loopholes in Guru's instructions. They think sometimes they're smarter than the Guru. So many variations of that. So just because you're chanting 16 rounds and following the regulatory principles doesn't mean that. That's one point. Second point is that sometimes we take a very liberal interpretation of the 4 regulatory principles. So for example, we talk about no illicit sex, but that's not a physical thing. That's a mental thing. And I tell you how hard that is by reminding of the story when Radha Rani's chastity was being questioned, and Chitla and Kutla were making all these rumors about Radharani and her character. So Krishna said, I have to do something about it. And he made a plan with Purnamasi, who's Yog Maya. Then he became very sick. And Yog Maya came as a doctor and said, the only cure is if somebody who's most chaste goes to Yamuna and takes this pot, which has 100 holes in it, fills it with water, brings the water to Krishna without dropping a single drop, then bathing from that water, Krishna will be cured. And now I'm talking about Braj gopis. At the time of Krishna, how pure they must be. And many of them tried. As soon as they picked up the pot from the water, all the water spilled out. And Jatila and Kutla were hiding. Somehow they got found, they tried it, and the water spilled out. Finally, Radharani was called. He filled the pot, not a single drop fell. Take it to Krishna, he was cured. My point is that if they were not chaste, like I can't even imagine them not being chaste, but by this test they failed, then how hard it must be. Which means not for a moment we thought of another woman or man, not for a moment any lusty thoughts came in our mind. And how many of us can say that? Maybe you all can. I can't. And I was confessing it. And I'm sitting, my wife's in the same house, so it's really a very honest confession, a very bold confession that no, I'm not falling for into Christmas by that standard. Right? So my point is, they are very high standards. So we are still starting. We're still starting, but we have to keep going. One day, all I know is guaranteed we'll get there one day. When that day comes, I don't know. Okay?
Yeah.
Was that more answer than you wanted?
No, I want more, but we all have to go.
Yeah, no, you
Another
go
time,
ahead.
maybe
Go
you
ahead.
and I.
Shashikala.
No more.
Shashikala Mata, you had a question? Raising your hand?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisance.
Please
Yes,
accept
Prabhu,
my.
my question is, I was very inspired about the Shloka Dadati Pratignati when I first came across, and then I was like, okay, this is it. I think my nature also is little bit like that. Let me invest in creating loving relationships with the devotees. I'm not saying the verse is wrong or saying I like what mistake we might be doing in cultivating loving relationship with devotees when Krishna is out of the picture. Like if I turn back, I think yes, we were working on creating loving relationship with devotees, but I don't feel any emotion for Krishna. It's just devotees, the way how to handle it's just all that in my head. No emotion for Krishna. So what mistake did I do?
So I want to make sure I understood the question. You're saying you feel no love for Krishna, yet you're trying to develop relationship with other devotees.
Yes, I have not cultivated love for Krishna or
Okay.
not even love, even just basic for Krishna was out of the picture, where mostly my whole investment was on devotees.
Right. So the point is that when you invest in devotees, if they are genuine devotees, the love of Krishna will come along with.
Correct.
Right. So I mean, like, you can't serve Krishna directly anyway. You serve Krishna through his devotees. So, like, even if you're doing arti of Krishna, you're doing it through your guru. Guru is actually performing the arti. You're not performing that arti. You're not authorized. Right? But you do it through guru. So similarly, we do the service of Krishna, and one of them is to serve and have a good relationship with his devotees. As a matter of fact, there's example of the Prachetas. When they performed their austerities under the water, Lord Vishnu appeared and he said, I'm very pleased with your service because you cooperate with each other. Those were his exact words. Because you cooperate with each other, I'm very pleased with your service. And that's what Krishna is looking at. So a devotee who maybe again doing 64 rounds and eating nothing but prasadam and serving, but has lousy relationship with devotees, is not going very far. Not going very far.
Mm.
Right? So, and that's a devotee association and serving the devotees and your relationship with the devotees is very important. But all that goes towards progression in your bhakti path. It helps you develop the love of Krishna. We all start with basically zero. But we're moving in the right direction as long as we keep serving the devotees, following the regulative principles, serving the devotees, serving the Guru, and so on and so forth. It's all a process. But process is also the end in the case of bhakti. So doing both together at the same time. Because when you become pure devotee, you go back on Godhead, what will you be doing? You'll still be chanting. That doesn't stop. You'll still be serving the devotees at Krishna. That doesn't stop. Even though you have gained the ultimate goal, your activities don't change.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Okay, we better stop. 9:39 already. So
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice
Thank
lecture.
you. Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa Patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Thank you
thank
all.
you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.